let's wrap up our work on the neck and head. We'll show our controls and bring the character's head back. Alright, so now he can see where he's going. Let's go ahead and play this back. You can see that the head is moving way too much, so we need to stabilize it first. And then we'll finish up by adding some follow-through in our x-axis. So all we need to do to stabilize the head is grab the neck control. Let's go ahead and double-click on our range slider so we can view the full range. It will need to create keyframes on our extremes. That's 1, 8, and 15. So let's go to the rotate z-axis on frame 1, and we'll go ahead and just slide the head over to straighten it up a bit. Looks like we could round this value out to about 15 on 1. So let's transfer 15 to 15. Let's go ahead and middle click on frame 15, right click, and choose key selected. Alright. So on frame 8, that looks pretty funny. Let's go ahead and straighten out the neck by putting in a value of -15. There we go. So now when we play this back, you can see the character is looking forward. Very important. We don't want him to be dizzy after his run. That's not good for anyone. Alright. Let's now, with the neck selected, shift select the head. Let's move over to our perspective and graph view. And let's get to work on adding some follow through. So just taking a look at this, as the body's rotating back on frame 6, we can add follow through where the neck and head rotate forward. Great. And now, a few frames after, as the body starts to thrust forward, we can have the neck and head rotate back. And this is going to give us some really nice thrusting actions in the neck and head. So as we get into our down position, the head and neck will move down, and then they'll thrust forward as we push forward, moving into our passing and peak positions. Let's transfer the pose from 6 over to frame 13. So we'll middle click on 13, right click and choose key selected. On frame 9, we need to transfer this to frame 2. So we'll middle click on 2, right click and choose key selected. And now we can take a look at our function curves and start to adjust them. So selecting the keys on frames 1 and 15 and drag these down just a little bit. They actually look pretty good here. Now we can go ahead and adjust our tangents. Oh, there we go. We'll just go ahead and shift select to grab our end tangents and drag those up. Alright, great. So if we were to take a look at this, just playing this back, again I'll knock out the last frame and play. Take a look, we're getting some really nice movements now. Alright, so let's say we go ahead and make sure that the head is brought up a bit more. He's looking down right now. And if the character had eyes, we might lift the eyes up, and that might make him look more intense, make the run look more dramatic. But since he doesn't have eyes, just for clarity, we'll go ahead and rotate the head up so we know that he is looking forward. We'll go ahead and select our keyframes, the rotate x-axis. Let's go ahead and hold down shift and drag these keys down to correct the animation. Alright, so now let's go ahead and delay the next animation. Instead of sliding this one frame to our right to delay the animation, we'll make sure that the neck rotates first and then the head follows through. So here's the base, and then the head would represent the object that would follow through from what's happening with the base. Alright, so with the neck selected, we'll go to the rotate X, we'll select our keyframes, hold down shift, and drag one frame to our left to speed up its timing just a bit. Now let's go ahead and hide our curves and hit play to take a look. We're getting some really nice movements here. Very exciting. Okay, so at this point, we can make sure that the animation remains in range. So this time, instead of going to frame 15, not just yet, we can go ahead and just check to make sure we have a pose locked down in frame 1, and we most certainly do. So now we can head over to 15 and create a keyframe with the Insert Key tool. Once we have made sure that our keys are in range, we can take the key out of our range on frame 0 and delete that. And we should be good to go. We should have a very smooth function curve. So that was pretty simple to tweak. Now what I'd like to do last to make sure that we can really see some more movement in the character's head is to kind of exaggerate this a bit. So maybe we can go to the point at which the head is rotating back and push that back just a bit more so that the movement is more noticeable. So we'll grab the keys on 2 and right here on frame 9, and with those selected, let's hold down shift and just drag those down to bring the head back just a little bit more. We can play this back to make sure we like what we see. I think that's going to work out much better. So now let's go ahead and select the keys on 1 and 15. We'll go ahead and flatten our tangents. Let's drag these down a bit more. And now we can go ahead and adjust our tangent T to finish up. All right, so I'll go ahead and slide the tangents up. Might go ahead and adjust the keys a bit more to just drag them down to smooth out the function curve. Not much at all. It's really nitpicky, but we just want to get the best result possible. All right, so now if we were to go ahead and hide our curves, knock off our last frame, hit play, take a look at that. We're getting some fabulous results in our animation. Should be really pleased with what we see here. All right, so that finishes up our work on the character's head. So here's what we have left. We need to clean up the arms. Once the arms are cleaned up, we can then take a look at any areas we may want to refine before we call our run cycle finished. So we just have a few more tasks before we're finished up.